Let's see what do we have in the bottom of the deck over here is apologizing. Nobody has ever apologized to me. Forgiveness. Okay. Checking the energies. Now there is Two of Cups. A marriage. Resistance to structure. Four of Cups. Four of Cups. Ace of Fire. Passion, new desire, new adventure, venture, action. So some passionate action which created emotional distance because of it was I guess a negative action that they took. Too many cards flipping. Let's see. Temperance. Disharmony triggers. Temperance is exactly the opposite card of this energy is peace and harmony and balance. Over here there is conflict, competition, argument, harsh communication. Yeah. Now Knight of Swords. Judgment. So a fighter of truth is bringing judgment because of, I guess there was some lie about Two of Cups, and somebody was resisting towards this false foundation, but they took some actions based on this lies. Okay, creating emotional distance that is never, that cannot be forgiven. This is even without, so whoever then they actually partnered up with is in conflict. So actual peace loving people don't do such frauds. They are simple people, create simple families without harming and hurting anyone or dragging anyone else's name. Actually, doubt surfaces, unexpected revelation. Okay, too many ego check because of this act, crime of passion. It's looking like. Okay, shared experience. You know, this unexpected revelation is how much one resisted being in a false foundation with anyone. So now they see this Two of Cups, Tao surfacing, fraudulent Two of Cups, clearing the air. Apology, clearing the air. They can't even do that. They need to be in jail. Okay, we'll check Soul Symphony. Butterfly reverse. There is no devotion, no butterflies, no genuine feeling of completeness, nothing. That is the reason. Family. So, yeah. So, the one targeted was resisting to be associated with any of such false foundations, because that is, and this couple or whoever they were, there is a couple though, but there is a third party that they are dragging in and posing them as a, what do you say, sacrifice. And that sacrifice has been resisting this falsehood, and that is the unexpected revelation to this family. They thought that somebody is happy being a third party without even consenting or having the knowledge of what is going on, and they never tell. Okay, so this sacrifice was put through a lot of fire anyways, causing them to emotionally distance themselves from any abusive motherfuckers in the family or outside. And that is giving this man who thought they can manipulate the sacrifice target's scapegoat according, they could play the sacrifice according to their wishes, is getting an ego check and is getting fired up because the sacrifice is emotionally distant by, because of the unconsented abuse, but not what not all fire. Okay, so there is disharmony between the original couple because the one who was not the sacrifice was to get the stardom, was to get the luxury, was to get the high uh, plagiarized benefits, fruit of somebody else's labor. Okay, she was supposed to be the spiritual, intellectual star, and this motherfucker was exploiting another female to give this person all that. Now they are in disharmony because their star is their sacrifice is not cooperating, apparently, because they were doing it behind the back, and now the sacrifice is speaking in a tarot card reading about how these people are abusing, plagiarizing, stealing ideas, stealing entire personality of the victim, and giving the entire life story of the victim to this bitch to be a star. This motherfucker is a temperance Sagittarius. And yeah, they are saying that it's a shared experience. It's not. There's only one person who was in the fire, and the one who is getting the stardom and the knowledge of what's happening, the access, the assistance to get justice, is not the actual victim. Yeah, they are saying that they are sharing gifts. No, this Sagittarius is not sharing gifts, they are stealing gifts. They are stealing gifts, and they wanted the original to beg for the scraps that they have been monetizing with the original's gifts. They were trying to make the original beg for crumbs and justice, beg for justice. While the abuser couple is reproducing families out of exploitation and abuse Let's check on the let's check on the energies of the soul symphony. This Sagittarius could be male, female, we don't know. Four of Swords. Yeah. So this the fraudulent one, the fraudulent victim was getting no rest. She was getting no sanctuary and no happiness. And judgment is being called that the abusers are getting to settle down and have stardom, and the actual victim is not even getting to have their own justice or their own story, or they can't even. They're saying that the pain isn't even their pain is not original. Even if they express their pain, there are several uh, unintelligent fans of these motherfuckers that would doubt the original, because they steal from the original and trash talk on the original. Judgment. They have so much family support, they have such a good marriage and whatnot. No, why can't they be happy with their own? Why can't they cultivate their own original ideas? And no, they have to steal the wealth of the victim, they have to steal the happiness of the victim, they have to steal the future, the star of the victim, and then be happy, and that also is not giving them happiness. Do you see this teamwork? Yeah, they had a whole team put behind the victim to exploit, to plagiarize, to copy paste from the original. Okay, and now if somebody pinpoint that they are not all the original author of these gifts, these ideas, they are just flaring up. There is a flip card. Illusions in reverse. There is no illusions now that they can create about having a shared experience of the gifts, because these people are not nowhere near, nowhere connected. They might rent out in the neighborhood and try to be in proximity to then use bioweapons on the victim to siphon again. But at least now they cannot say that they have shared gifts, because they have been stealing, and that is clear. That much is clear, that they have been stealing, making the original poor, and they are buying houses and going on vacations and having brands, and they cannot move forward. Even after doing that, they always have to constantly harass, torture, siphon from the original. So they may have given some scraps to the original now that they are being questioned. Okay, because they never, gave anything, not even anything to the original. And now, because maybe the good side of the law and justice are on their behinds, they are trying to play innocent, that they were always just helping. No, they were always just exploiting. uh, Even if they are, even this female, if she is a family member of the target, she has not never spoken to the person, the original, since a decade or more. So they have no connection, no bond that should allow them to cross boundaries like that, or cross human rights like that, or cross or steal like that. the social justice warrior. Yeah, she was then the abuser was fighting for the justice of the victim while she is herself an abuser, a stealer, a thief, or a benefit taker, advantage um, taker of the original victim. So that's why there is no justice yet after all these years. Also because the abuser is playing the hero and hindering justice and taking it for herself. The Hierophant in reverse. The Hierophant in reverse is the traditional, exactly. So this structure was fraudulent, right? It was not traditional. Okay, and that is why the victim was resisting all these. Okay, since a lot of years, at least in her own capacity, and because they kept keeping her in the dark, anyways. So judgment on this unexpected revelation that family was also involved in supporting these motherfuckers to exploit and steal, maybe with their own misguided information or their own low intelligence, we do not know. Why is the deck upside down? I don't like it. I'll check it over here. We have went wild, four of wands. So there a crime of passion done by this group to one person went viral. Okay, they were cyberbullying and gang stalking and blatantly harassing somebody to kill themselves went viral. Grown-ass man. Yeah, this Sagittarius wants to be like a home husband, stay at home husband. Okay, king of thought. Yeah, and always plotting on how to defraud of fraud another person and to bring more stardom to his bitch. That's all he does. He cooks and he plots on innocent people so that they can portray as they can be seen as stars. This couple is extremely insane. Okay, page of is coming out. Page of fields. So their fear is that their victim will come out and speak of their experience. Not that anyone is, telling her anything, but she has gifts and she is, trying to put in the puzzle of how she was abused, was stolen of whistles and those beep 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 kind of things. So for if somebody is stalking you or you are in the night walking down the alley and if you feel unsafe, you make noise and then somebody will come to help you. And that is what I was thinking, that all this woman equipment, woman safety devices of whistles and noise maker, because women have a limited volume to their. This woman, me, has a limited volume, right? So I thought, yeah, that is something that I would use if I get holds on those women safety noise making whistles and beep 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 thing. But then it struck me, all these years so much has happened, none have come to help me. Which whistle will it the whole their system of women safety is based on the foundation that people are helpful, not that people are not helpful. I'm sure there's a lot, in a lot of ways, people um, have been helpful, but not, they could have never known that family is involved. They could have never known, just like I myself would have never known that these two couples exploiting or using my own family against me. So that's it.